We went free camping in Florida with my 2 dogs using water management district. It was my first time taking Roxy with me. I usually take Apple. Roxy is my big cattle dog, and she's usually home with my son taking care of the chickens, as she doesn't like to be on a leash. She's a dog who has PTSDs, and despite $3,000 of training, it's a bit hard to take her around people. So I'm going to share with you in this video how to get a permit to go to a campground for free up to 30 days a year in the beautiful state of Florida. Welcome back to my channel. And yes, I know I moved my camera toward my toilet, but hey, a toilet is part of van life, right? We will talk about this $36 toilet at the end of the video. I really love it. Okay, time to share my secrets. You know what? Since I'm using CapCut and I'm going to edit, if you don't mind, I'm going to clean up the rig while I talk to you because it's a mess now. I travel with a 7-year-old and 2 dogs. If you are looking for these hidden gems in Florida, you have to look beyond the typical state parks. The real secret is the water management districts. Yeah, most people don't realize Florida is actually split into 5 separate districts, north, south, west. Each one has its own booking website, its own rules, and its own unique landscapes, from the deep woods to the coastal springs. I'm showing you exactly how I navigate these systems to find the best spot for my van, and I've put the 5 links in the description. So let's start with South Florida because I live in South Florida and I have tried every single campground there. So let's say you're in the south now and you want to go to Dupuis. Why Dupuis? Because Dupuis is the, yeah, I say it with my French accent, it's okay. Dupuis is a French name. So you go to Dupuis because Dupuis has hot shower and it's the only camp with hot showers. They all have showers, but not hot water. So to go to Dupuis, you go on the website here below in the description, you click and you create an account. I can't show you this part because I have already created my account. If South Florida allows you to stay 14 days and North Florida Water Management District allows you to stay 30 days, you have to ask ChatGPT, but I think that you can just add the days. You cannot just stay 30 days every year in the same camp if they say you are only allowed to stay up to 14 days. So you go to the website and you see all the campground. After you have created your account, you click on Dupuis. Then you go to RV. You have a day pass, but you want to spend a night there. So you go to the RV link. Once you are in there, they send you to another link. And it's getting confusing because there are a lot of equestrian loops. Some of them don't want you to go on the equestrian loop if you don't have horses. And I didn't know that, and I had to double check on Gemini or ChatGPT. And I know about Dupuis, Hickory Hammock. I know about all the ones that I have been to. But if you're not sure, just copy paste and ask ChatGPT so you know that you are booking in the right spot. So you go Dupuis, you can go in the equestrian loop. In Dupuis, it's all about horses there, near Okeechobee. So you enter your information, your license, the number of people, your dogs, because they allow 2 dogs per rigs, and it's free as well for them. And right away, you get your permit. Why do you need this permit? You don't need to print the permit because if you are on the road, you don't have a printer, you don't have to print the permit. That's a question that I often see online.
don't print the permit. Once you get there, the host will come to you, or you go to the host and they will ask you for the permit, and you can just show the permit from your phone. You get the permit right away if it's available. You're gonna see anyway, when you book, you see if it's available or not. You get the permit right away, and on the permit there is a combination code, because all the campgrounds are gated. That's the catch. You cannot just drive there, and they change the code every month, I believe. So you can't just have the code and expect to come back next time. It's not gonna work, and they're gonna call the rangers on you if you do this. The host is gonna ask you for the permit. So once you get there, you're in the front of the gate, and you have, I swear, these people are psycho. You have a gate with like 6 or 7 locks. And trust me, the first time I fell, and that was at Hickory Hammock, and I was not able to get in the park, and there was no host, no ranger, because there is maybe a 5-mile drive before you get to the camp after the gate. Nobody was watching me struggling, so I made a U-turn and I went back home. So you need to open only one lock, and on the permit they also call it SUL, special license something. They don't tell you which one you need to open, which is a nightmare. And I watch YouTube videos. Sometimes it's the one that is golden, sometimes not. So you never know which one you have to open. So you're gonna have to open them all one by one, or try to open them all, because only one lock is going to open. And once you open it, you just pull it and the chain will open. Once you get into the campground, lock it back. Please lock it back. Most of the time you have camera and they will know if you didn't lock it. Once you are in there, it's first come, first served. So you take the spot that you like. At some campgrounds, there are some picnic tables at some spots, and pit fire. Others don't have the pit, but they have the picnic tables. You pick the spot you want. Most of them have water that you can drink, but it's still very convenient to do your dishes. And again, it's free. So, I mean, it's just amazing.
Before I talk about my dogs and the experience that I had, I want you to know that if you pull the permit and you decide not to go, you have to cancel. Why? Because remember, in South Florida, you have 14 days. In Central Florida, you have 30 days. If you don't cancel your permit, it's gonna count towards the days. So if you're not going, or if you're as stupid as myself and can't get in because you can't figure out how to get in, but that's why I've done the video, so now you have no excuses. Cancel, okay? Just cancel. I'm posting the 5 links in the description, but just so you know, the Suwannee River one is mostly for tent. They have only one where you can bring a rig, but I'm still posting it because if you have a car in the Suwannee area, you have to park the car and you can camp in your tent. So I'm also doing tent camping and car camping, so I'm still posting the Suwannee one because who doesn't like the springs?
I don't like to fail, so I went back to Hickory Hammock this time, and I knew how to open it. But now I'm going to share with you my first time with 2 dogs. I don't know about you, but for me it was not great. Maybe it's because of the situation with Roxy. So I volunteer for a few rescues around where I live. I take some puppies sometimes that I bottle feed every 3 hours. So yes, around the clock. I've been volunteering there for a while, and I foster many dogs. And Roxy is my foster failure. She's the dog that I kept. But because she's a cattle dog, or she's a mixed, she's a herding dog. it's been very hard to take her around people, and she doesn't bite or anything, but she's definitely pulling on the leash. We try to ride our bikes. I had purchased a very cheap bike rack that I put on my van by myself. I'm very proud of myself for that. And we tried to go because Hickory Hammock has wonderful trails. Again, it's for horses, but not only for horses. You can just go on your bikes. And we had Apple the Chihuahua and Roxy. Apple is used to come with us, and I usually put her in my purse, and it's easy peasy. She's a tiny dog. But Roxy is big. She pulled. She made my son fall off the bike. Yes, it was a bit hard. Then we drove 30 minutes to a dog-friendly restaurant, because if you have seen my previous video, no solar, you know that when I'm on a dry camping, there is a helicopter. When I'm boondocking or when I'm doing dry camping, I only rely on my Blue AT. I have no solar system, so I go out with my son, diner, restaurants once every 2 or 3 days, and I charge my Blue AT while I eat, or I also take my laptop sometimes and I work. So this day I drove 35 minutes to be exact to a place that is deemed to be dog friendly. And when I got there, they told me, oh, we're sorry, we had a dog incident and we don't allow dogs anymore. Okay, so I took Roxy, I took Apple, I took my son, and we drove some places, and we actually found a nice Lake Placid, if you know, and we went for a nice swim. Again, over there it was hard because they did not allow dogs at the playground, at the lake. And you're gonna tell me, but you always have Apple. But Apple is tiny Chihuahua. When she's in my purse, she doesn't bother anyone. I never had one person who came to me and said, oh no, you can't bring the dog, she's in my purse. So even when they have a no dog policy, she doesn't bother anyone. So I had to watch my son, obviously, so I had to attach Roxy to a picnic table there, and she was like whining, barking. She was miserable. So I think that for Roxy, it was the first and last time. I think that from now on, she's going to stay home with my son Clarence, 23, and she is going to do what she does best, take care of the chickens. Because even in the campground, I like the biodiversity, the animals. That's what I like in Florida. And we had a big turtle like right in front of us. And she was driving me like crazy. She was barking at the turtles. The turtles, oh my gosh, she freaked out. Apple, again, she's tiny, so I usually grab her, I put her back in my purse, and she doesn't say a thing. But she's a herding dog. Roxy is a herding dog, so she wanted to go after the turtle. So I don't know, I don't want to be mean to Roxy, but we basically had no peace. Like, she was like bothering everyone, even the wild animals. Then we tried to go to a thrift store, and I love thrift stores. You know that by now. And again, it's Florida. You cannot leave the dogs in the car. And same thing when I go with Apple, even if they have a no pet policy, nobody says anything when she's in my purse. Not only they don't say anything, but they're like, oh my gosh. Sorry, the door just locked. They're like, oh my gosh, she's so cute, can I pet her? So it's a different world from having like a tiny, I don't know how many pounds she's, and versus a 60-pound dogs. When they have a no pet policy, it's a no pet policy. So really, it's not the same experience having a tiny, small dog who can behave. She doesn't really bark. She stays in the purse and she's happy, versus having a herding dog. As I said at the beginning of the video, I said she had $3,000 of training. I didn't have to pay that because I'm a volunteer. I volunteer for 3 rescues now, so I use my coupons. But she had a lot of trainings, and because I got her when she was an adult, she's still not doing well around people. She's overwhelmed, and it's really hard to go places. And if you realize, most of the places, especially in the springs where I go all the time, I often talk about the springs. I'm still trying to buy a raw land. If you know, I was under contract, but I was victim of a wire fraud. I recovered my money, and as of yesterday, I put another offer on another land near the Suwannee River, so fingers crossed. I haven't heard from the sellers yet, the trustee actually. They usually, don't get back to us on the weekend, and I'm making this video on the weekend. You will see the video on Wednesday, but I'm making the video on the weekend, or maybe you will see the video on the other weekend. So especially in the springs, they have like a no dogs policy, and they're very strict. So traveling with dogs when you can't do anything at all is a challenge. Even when I have Apple, so when I go kayaking or when I go on the spring, yes, I have this campground, and I'm gonna post the campground in the description. No, here in the description. I put my my fingers up because I'm gonna put an overlay here so you see. And I've been to this campground many times, and I know the owners very well. And last time I asked them if they could watch my dog, and they have a 25, 26 years old daughter, and I paid her, and she watched Apple. They have a farm, just so you know, they have a farm with pigs and chickens and many, many dogs. So I paid their daughter, and she watched Apple, and I was able to go kayaking the Hickory River with my son. Otherwise, we would not have been able to go on the water. So that's the thing about Florida. I guess if you go to Alabama or another state and it's not super hot, you can leave your dog in the car and go shopping quickly. But really in Florida you can't, and I have to cheat many times with Apple, and I have to sneak her in like in my purse and go quickly to a public place, Publix or Winn-Dixie or a thrift store. But with Roxy, there was no way I could hide her. So first and last time traveling with 2 dogs. Oh yes, I'm sitting on my toilet. I said I was going to tell you about my toilet. I did not forget. So I call this toilet my ugly toddler because it looks like a toddler potty. But you know what? $36. I love it. So you can just like basically put the toilet inside. It's kind of a frame, like it goes inside, and when you use it, you put it on top so it's not too low. I actually don't want to collapse and uncollapse when I need it, so it's always ready to go. It's always closed, and I like the small stuff on the side so you can put your toilet paper. Yeah, it's ugly, but I think on Amazon they have it in pink, blue, other colors, but I went with the cheapest one because I'm cheap. Well, if you have seen again my previous videos, you know I like thrift stores, cheap stuff, the curb, so that's just about me. But no, I really love this toilet. And what I do is that I actually place my cat litter. This one is very cheap at Walmart, and I just place it under the toilet.
And it's hard to do it with one hand because, okay. And since it's heavy, it prevents the toilet from moving, and I'm not hiding it. It's just right there. So that is my bathroom. Yes, Apple. Are we done for today? Yes, ready for another campground. Oh, and new stuff. Since we are talking about toddlers, I bought this on Amazon. They are on sale right now. We'll post the link below. I love it. Look, I even have one there. Love it. I see you next week. And remember, always barefoot.